Hi everyone, this is Kevin McNamara. Welcome to the Inspired Healing Podcast. It's a place where we talk about everything from plant-based diets to meditation to good healthy relationships and everything in between. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any questions, please hit me up and we'll get those answered on the next podcast. Thanks for listening. Let's go inside. Hey everybody, it's Kev here. Welcome back to episode, not welcome back, but welcome back to the podcast. And this is episode number 13. Wow. And look, I had a bit of feedback from yesterday's podcast, and people want to hear more about the Camino. I told you a lot about the plane trip and how my broken foot happened, but I didn't spend as much time as I would have wanted on the actual Camino. And that's what was the exciting part about that whole story. And look, I was running out of a little bit of time, so I sort of shortened that a little bit, but I thought I'd go back over that today. So this can be part 2 of the Camino walk with a broken foot. And it was an amazing trip. There's no doubt about that. So I've already told you how I broke my foot playing tennis, and then we jumped on the plane and headed over to Madrid. And Madrid was just amazing, landing there. And in Madrid, the first place we stayed at, we rocked up there, and I was sort of hobbling along. We had all our bags, and we get there, and there are 4 flights of stairs. And poor old Joy, she had to bear the brunt of carrying all the stuff up the stairs because I had to hang on to the railings because I basically only had one leg. And it was just, I did feel for her, but she did an amazing job. And the apartment was lovely, actually. It was a really nice place to stay. So that was an interesting start to the trip. Toured around Madrid, loved it, just a beautiful place. Then we caught the train from Madrid out to Sarria, and we landed in Sarria, and just such a beautiful place, had a real vibe about it. And in Sarria we stayed at the Casa Baran, which was a really nice, I guess you'd call it a B&B, bed and breakfast. Really nice view, lovely place. We got up in the morning, and there was a real buzz about the whole place, and we walked out onto the road there, like a little almost like a cobblestone street there. Just the history of the whole place of Spain is very historic, and just beautiful. And we were walking out there, and I had my walking poles. I took walking poles with me because I needed those with the foot. And just a great buzz, just getting out there and people getting up and coming out of their, hotel rooms and coming out onto the path, and which is the Camino. That's the path of the Camino. And that was just so exciting, just seeing all these people coming out, and there were quite a few. And so we headed off, and one couple had a dog with them, which was great. And just walking it, you just had this real vibration of excitement, I guess you'd call it, because you've got on this path that's been there for 1,000 years or more, and so many thousands, millions of people have walked this path, this pilgrimage, and just a wonderful feeling. And we got to it was only 9 k's the first day, and we got to our next place where we were staying, which was called the Pension Casa Morgade or Morgade. Beautiful place, and that's where I mentioned yesterday with my foot, it was aching a little bit, and I found this beautiful, it was a trough. It was like a trough full of water, and there was running cold water into it, and the mornings there and the evenings really, really cold, but the daytime, certainly in the first few days, was just beautiful, nice and sunny. Actually, the second day wasn't. That was freezing cold all day, but the first day was just amazing. And I put my foot in this trough, just went and sat by it. The sun was shining. It was just beautiful. And that really helped my foot there. Second day, we got up. I think it was the second day. And it was just freezing cold. And for some reason, I didn't wear what I wore the day before. And I sort of paid for that because I wasn't wearing enough warm clothing. And I was just freezing. And my foot was aching on this day, and the first 2 hours were just climbing up hills, basically. That's what we were doing. I'm glad I had the poles with me. But that's the only part of the trip that really I struggled with. And but I kept going, but that was the hardest part as far as my foot was concerned. And as far as the cold was concerned, I just, it was like my whole body was sort of rejecting me on that particular day. But we got to where we were staying on that evening, which was in Portomino. And we were staying at the Portomino Hotel. And we went to a pizza and pasta place for dinner, and it was just magnificent. And I'm not sure whether that was the first time we'd had their wine, but we're not red wine drinkers. They brought us out some wine. I thought, we'll just try it, give it a bit of a go. And it was just delicious. Their wine over there has no preservatives, and it's basically organic. And it was just the best. So for the rest of the trip, we just drank wine every day. It was, and like I say, we're not red wine drinkers, but over there, just beautiful. So that was a great experience. Yeah, the pizza and the pasta and the wine and the bread. They bring out the bread all the time too. This thick, almost like a ciabatta type bread, just beautiful. I mean, other highlights of the trip, we came across a lady holding a sign up, free hugs, and here's this group of people, and they've got a little shop, and they're just offering free hugs. It was just amazing to see that in the middle of sort of nowhere out in Spain. We came across a couple of police on horses who sort of patrol along the Camino, and that was a bit of a photo opportunity as well for me, being an ex-copper myself. That was great. We came across an Irish schoolboys bike trip. Again, some more selfies there, and had a bit of a chat to the guys. They were really loving it. We also came across a beautiful old lady in a little... and like we're talking, like all the streets, like the towns you walk into are just so old, and they've got all the old, bluestone brick walls and these beautiful cottages. And there was a lady who had set up a stall. It was kind of a shop, but it wasn't really a shop per se. But she had the stall set up, all this homemade food, and she was just the most beautiful old lady. Didn't speak a lot of English, and she was just delightful. And we bought some of her food there, and that was typical of the people you met over in Spain. They were just so friendly. And as we were going along, I mean, I bought a lot of hats and that kind of stuff. I'm into caps, so I bought a few caps there, which was great. And each day, my foot was definitely improving. It just felt better each day. And we got to the last day, and that was a 25-kilometre walk. I really enjoyed the walk. But once we walked into Santiago de Compostela, just the most amazing place, the big cathedral there. We stayed at a hotel called the Parador, which is just beautiful and built back in the 1500s. It's one of the oldest hotels in the world. Just beautiful with the big claw bath, and magnificent. Just the history of the place. I just love that, and just to experience that and feel it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life. That is for sure. But it was funny because the day we walked in there, it was like my body just said, "Okay, Kev, you've been walking on this broken foot for 9-10 days, whatever it is. That's it. We're stopping now." And my whole body just shut down, and I had to go and sit down. And Joy did a bit of wandering around the town, and I just ended up going back and had a beautiful bath in this massive bath in this hotel. But I was just spent. It had sort of caught up with me. But after that, I was fine, and my foot was great. And when you get there, you go and get your credential, which is your passport. You get that stamp to say that you have completed the Camino. And as you go along each day, you have to get your passport stamped by everywhere you stay, and also there's also little shops and that kind of thing, but they'll give you a stamp as well, and it's just a bit of a something to remember the whole trip by. And we lined up for that. We then went to the cathedral the following day, and the cathedral's just something to behold. It is just an amazing spiritual journey going in there. It's just beautiful. And there's a thing called the Botafuro, or Botafumiro, which is the big copper. It's like a container, and it contains the incense. And during the service, we went there for like a mass. All the pilgrims go, and because we're all called pilgrims on this, we're doing a pilgrimage, walking along the Camino. And what happens with this Botafumiro is it's raised up on some on rope, and then it is swung right throughout the whole cathedral. Like it goes from one side to the other with this smoke billowing out of it. It is just the most amazing experience. So the whole Camino was just full of just amazing experiences, and I highly recommend, if you ever get the chance to go and walk the Camino, just go and do it. Whether you walk the full one, which can take 6 or 7 weeks to do it, and you're walking every day for that time. That's 800 kilometres. Or whether you do the one that we did, which was about 120 kilometres. But the whole experience of the place, just to really feel how these people live, and it is just beautiful, and the history there is just stunning. The scenery is stunning. I highly recommend you go and do it. My foot survived, and I'm really so happy I went. Even though people were saying, look, just put it off, you're breaking your foot, you won't enjoy it. Well, I can tell you I enjoyed every last second of it. It was just amazing, and I can't wait to go back there again. So that's the Camino story, guys. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions about that, let me know. And I'll see you on the next podcast. Bye. Really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inspired Healing Podcast. If you did, share it with your friends, family, share it around. And don't forget to subscribe. Check out the website below, turmericheals.com, and we'll see you on the next podcast.